INEC says that, it deserves some credit in the sense that, it's done quite a lot of work in trying to clean out the voters register. Both parties admit that the registers that were used for the Ekiti and the Osun elections look like a fair representation of what it should be. They look like pretty good registers, which is to say that all the time, maybe work had been going on in the background, but the results are only just coming out. It's maybe slow, painful, but it would seem that we're getting there in terms of the register. Is it just the preparations that you've seen that are deflating your ability or your confidence in INEC to be able to conduct, very good elections this year? Or are you not also going to take into cognizance the elections that were held this year as well? And the quality, because a lot of people say they look pretty transparent, open, free, and fair.
Elections in 2 states of less than 2 million persons. Please look at the voting strength of Ekiti State, the voting strength of Osun State. It's both put together are possibly less than Lagos West Senatorial District. Possibly so. And I want to use 2/36. I am not interested in what you have done. We should measure by what you are doing as at today. It's not like there were no complaints in Ekiti. It's not like people were not disenfranchised in Osun State. But the fact that the people, the state governments, managed to mobilize the people to pick those cards at great expense. You don't know what it costs to even mobilize people on publicity, on awareness, on creating, on printing posters. INEC is not doing all of this. So you should not take credit for what he didn't do. I know almost every candidate. Look at every poster you see on the street today of any candidate. You'll see there, pick up your voters' cards, your PVC. All flyers, listen on the radio, look at what the state governments are doing. When last did you see anything by INEC in the newspapers asking you, telling you how to pick up your PVC? I am asking, when last? These are 5 newspapers before you. In an election year, shouldn't you see this at least in 1 newspaper every day? Shouldn't we be, when last did INEC come to channels? Yes, I heard the Director of Public Affairs speaking a few days ago because you went to him to seek information. Shouldn't they be the one placing spot adverts on channels, educating the people, putting it on the Yoruba speaking, Igbo speaking, Hausa speaking, radio and media organizations?
But
shouldn't they be the one in the model parks, in the markets?
These things are not free. I mean,
look,
they cost money.
INEC budget is humongous.
It is.
But look, those who are doing it are spending money. They are spending money that has been budgeted for INEC. What is the cost of the PVC? Don't we all pick up ID cards? Don't we pick up bank cards? We can have bank cards with all the security details in them and possibly more sophisticated than this PVC.
Well, there is something driving the banks, which is profit, and there's a way they manage themselves. But,
yes.
We're looking at a body that
I think we should take profit out of it. Efficiency is efficiency. Whether you are offering a public service, government itself should be business. How many banks have the kind of budget INEC has? I mean, how can we be talking? The profit is immaterial. Look, what INEC, the responsibility
my point is that if there's an incentive, there is an incentive for banks to be efficient, so to speak, because at the end of the day, they're in business. They're looking to make a profit.
Yes.
For INEC, there is no such incentive. In fact, it has to go cap in hand, first of all, to get its budget approved.
The allocation.
And then oftentimes, it doesn't get what it is that it wants. Not because it doesn't know its duties, but because people feel your budget is too big. Can we cut it down to size? Perhaps that is the rewards of what it is we're reaping.
Yeah, with all respect, we have been involved for years in the budgetary process at some level of government. And when you do budgets, it's not enough you give me a figure. is justification. That's what we ask for. We know what it costs us to run elections in Nigeria. We know what even the US spends on similar exercises. We know what Ghana, of 20 million persons, spends on an election, and we know what INEC spends in the southeast of about 7.2 million voters, and Ghana of 21 million persons. I don't want to compare Ghana with Nigeria. I take sections. Our budgets are humongous. And for me to hear things like the banks are motivated by a profit, efficiency has no name. They are not you either want to do the job or you want to get out. The bank who works in a bank is remunerated for what he does. So is INEC and his staff remunerated for the job. So it's no excuse about profit. Look, and let me say here, we are holding INEC to its promises. It made us promises. It rolled out an electoral plan. It's the same when they made the electoral law, the INEC is now saying at 11:45 that we are not sure we can do runoff. That in itself is depressing.
Mr. Ogala,
How does it have to take you 3 years to know that?
And
then why must we wait until every election to amend the electoral law? These are laws. It's a different thing from at the point of wanting to do what you want to do.
Mr. Ogala, maybe the setup of INEC, maybe it's faulty, maybe. But look at the kind of system that INEC or the current leadership of INEC inherited.
Yes.
That many considered a decade system that has been there for a long time.
Yes.
So they were given a decade system, they worked with it in 2011, and a lot of people say, okay, they tried, then they've improved along the way.
Improved?
They improved, at least. You agree that the last elections of Shunekiti, yes, you said they are small units and all, but those were like litmus tests.
I didn't agree with you.
Okay. Those were like litmus tests to the next election.
I didn't agree with you
But
that they are perfect elections.
look at the background where this current INEC administration is coming from. Before you tear them apart. I mean, it's like throwing out the bathwater.
Listen, I'm not tearing anybody apart. I'm a lawyer. If you give me a brief, you are not interested, and you ought not to be interested in my challenges in my office. You want your job done. INEC has a brief from Nigerians. It does not have to wait till when the elections are just here.
Should the elections be shifted?
It's not possible. Then you are creating a constitutional crisis because the current government must go on May 29th. It must. It must.
No, there must be elections.
There must be elections.
Yeah.
And look, what are we even talking about here? If you ask me to advise INEC, if we cannot get the PVC, Shebi is the same register we have. Shebi, the essence of this, I have the PVC. I wish I had it here. There is nothing spectacular about it. It's just a card with my photograph. Slightly different. The only difference between it and the temporary voter's card is that one was laminated. This is permanent. Check the essence identification. It's still going to bring out a sheet of paper where my name is present. Somebody ticks it away. Go and collect ballot paper. Another ticks. Go and collect this. Another ticks. I go and thumbprint. I drop. I go. It's still the same process. If it was something with a chip, with chips, that is going to be electronic voting.
But there will be card readers.
Which card readers?
They say there will be card readers.
Have you seen the cards?
Deployed
card readers?
for the elections.
Look, if from what we saw in the process of what card readers?
That card has some security details. I happen to have mine.
They've got a strategy, INEC says.
Yes, there is some magnetic.
That's why
They don't use those card readers in Osun.
No, but for the
they don't use them in
2020 elections.
Ekiti. Look, I think we should not delude ourselves. A system where they bring computers that don't work.
Oh dear.
3/4 of the computers did not work. Laptops that don't work. Polling units that are not powered by anybody. Look, I know for the exercise, the last round of exercise, some of us had to, in fact, we had to rent chairs and tables for the INEC ad hoc staff.
That's another
I bought them a generator.
We'll come
past my neighbor.
Just your thoughts for a moment.
I bought them because there is none.
We'll come to this
They
in a
have
moment,
nothing to
but
work with.
let's quickly get
You're
the
not talking of
headline
card
news.
reader. I can tell you for free They've talked about those card readers. I can tell you for free, they are
Okay.
still going to tick.